Good evening. I call this meeting of the Monday, July 17th, 2023 regular board meeting to order. Mr. Zink, please call the roll.
Mr. Adi?
Yes, present.
Ms. Bodie?
Present.
Ms. Casper?
Here.
Ms. Schaefer? Ms. O'Connor?
Here. And I'll note that Mr. Adi is with us on Zoom and not able to be with us in person tonight, nor is Mrs. Schaefer. Mr. Vogelman, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Board. We'll move to number 3 on the agenda. Approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? The
Seconded.
chair will second.
Isaac can't second.
The chair will second.
Discussion.
Mrs. Bodie?
So if you could inform us on the appropriate procedure for pulling agenda items out to vote on separately. It's quite obvious that after 16 years of being on the board, you're clearly not following the Roberts Rules of Order, and there is confusion on what rules of order you are following. So I would like to separate A from B and C under number 6. And then also, when it comes to my motion, this is not my motion that I presented under number 8. And so I would like to read my whole motion that I presented. So how would I go about doing that without
So let me
being out
make
of
sure that
order?
we understand. You want to pull out A separately from B and C under 6 treasurer's recommendations?
Yes. And then I would like to read the motion that I presented, which in the past you've actually posted in a document, but this time you did not. So how do you suggest that I get to the point where I can read my motion that I presented? Because currently this is your motion because you adjusted mine.
So there are several comments to that. I have invited you many times to provide me with specific Roberts rules that I am not following. So I would appreciate that information.
You're the veteran.
Mrs. Bodie, I'm speaking now. So again, I invite you to present me with those, and we will determine if you're correct in your assumption or not.
You obviously don't know them.
I'm still speaking, Mrs. Bodie. You're out of order. Secondly, to your point about your motion, this is a business agenda. The motion that was specified as a motion within your document was included on the agenda, and that was in consultation with the agenda setting team. You did have some further background information on there. If your motion is seconded, you'll have that opportunity to share that.
I would actually
Any
like to read
further
that
questions?
because that is my motion. This is no longer my motion on the agenda. This is my motion that I presented forward, and background is included in the motion. So you are wrong.
The background is the discussion items and your supporting comments. It is not the motion itself.
You're wrong.
We'll move on, audience. We'll move on. Any further discussion on approval of the agenda?
No, are we going to, do we need to amend it or to just so that she can pull
I
out A?
didn't hear an amendment, so. Is there further discussion?
Yes, I want to read my full motion. So when I second it, I will read my full motion. Or when I make the motion, I will read the full motion, sorry, because I don't think it's going to be seconded.
So if that opportunity arises and it's seconded, you'll have that opportunity, Mrs. Bodie.
Actually, I will read the motion. It's your motion, so you can read it, but I will second my motion.
We're going to move on. Approval of the agenda, number 3. Please call the roll.
Ms. Casper?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Bodie?
No.
Board will move to board president comments. Several comments this evening. First and foremost, I would like to note that we have our new superintendent, effective as of tomorrow, sitting up here on the stage with us. I would like to welcome Dr. Lawley to the stage. We're going to give her a moment to speak. First, I want to say thank you to Mr. Vogelman. You stepped into the gap when we very much needed you to do so, and you've done a great job as our interim superintendent. And I'd like to say thank you to you. Thank you very much for what you've done. The board has spent quite a bit of time in the last few months going through a superintendent search process and making a determination, as we've kept our community aware of, that we needed to put an interim superintendent in place. And we were fortunate enough to obtain the services of Dr. Elizabeth Lawley, recently of Dayton Public Schools, now fortunately able to say she's of Lakota Public Schools. We're very thankful to have you. And I'd like to give you an opportunity to comment. I also want to welcome your husband, Mr. Eugene Lawley, who is a superintendent at Fairborn Schools, and he's in the audience with us tonight as well. Dr. Lawley, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say that I'm very, very excited to be returning to Butler County. I was born and raised in the Middletown area, and I worked in both the Middletown City Schools for 20 years and in the Monroe Local Schools for about 5 years. Lakota is very familiar to me. When I was a high school student at Madison High School, we traveled to Lakota High School, the one and only Lakota High School at that point in time, for football and basketball games, and I've watched the community grow and develop over the last several years. I'm so excited to be part of the Lakota team. Our focus will be on academic achievement and student learning. There are so many opportunities for students' futures, and we need to make sure that they are prepared academically for that future. Students will be future ready and academically prepared as Lakota graduates. That will be our focus. I look forward to meeting many of you and talking with you about the Lakota schools. Thank you for this exciting opportunity. Thank you, board members.
Thank you, Dr. Lawley. Board, do you have any comments for Dr. Lawley?
Just welcome. We're glad you're here, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here when you're not officially on the books yet. And we look forward to all of the great things that we can work together to bring to Lakota. So welcome.
Thank you. Mrs. Bodie?
No.
Mr. Adi?
Yes, Dr. Lawley. I'm very excited that you accepted this opportunity to join us. Just like you said in your speech, student achievement is the greatest thing we expect now. And I'm glad you have that as your number one agenda. And I look forward to working with you. When I come back, I'm going to try to have a meeting with you so that we understand each on a one-on-one. Welcome on board.
And Dr. Lawley, I look forward to working with you. Have we set a date for the first opportunity for the community to meet you? I know you've been working on that today, and not sure if we've landed on a date.
We actually have August 2nd as one of those dates, but we're hoping to have one sooner than that as well. We just have not secured that particular date at this time.
All right, so please stay tuned. We'll put that word out through our normal district communications when we have that date. Mr. Vogelman?
Yeah, as first steps in protocol, last listening session, we always try and mention that during the opening comments. I was not here for that. I appreciate Mr. Broussard sitting in my place. I guess it was a good one for him to sit in on because the comments of concerns were dealing with transportation, and Mr. Broussard has shared with me that he's followed up with each of those individual families that expressed concerns at the last listening session, so those have been taken care of. But I also want to welcome Dr. Lawley to the team. Pleased to have you with us. I want to assure you that your executive team will be here to work hard to ensure that you are successful here. We know it may be hard to maybe leave some of your coworkers and acquaintances at your former place of employment, but I believe you'll find great joy in getting to know our students, our family, our business members, our local officials as well in the Lakota community. With your leadership and experience as superintendent, we look forward to an excellent school year.
I like that positivity, Mr. Vogelman. I also wanted to note, I think we've been talking about the release of our state report card data will start in August as well, so that'll be an upcoming board presentation. Treasurer's comments, Mr. Zink?
Yes, I did hear a comment about the financial prospectus that went out. Thank you for that. I'd also encourage everybody, if you have things that you feel like we could do better, things that you feel like we missed or you would like to hear more about, please reach out, let us know, and we'll look to always improve. So thank you for that. Congratulations to Mr. Vogelman on being able to step away from the stage. I know it has been
In
fun
one
working
piece.
with you up here. So thanks for everything that you've done. Thank you. We'll miss you. Look forward to having Dr. Lawley to work with moving forward. So it's an exciting new chapter for Lakota. So we look forward to. I look forward to the opportunity to work with you. So.
And I also want to note that we'll be talking in upcoming meetings about the impact of House Bill 33 as we gather more information on that, probably an update at our August meeting. All right, we'll move to board reports. Number 5, Board Policy Committee. Mr. Vogelman?
Next meeting is scheduled for Friday, August 18th, when we do all of our quarterly meetings.
So we'll have a pile.
Yes, we will have some policies to review, correct. There are no updates from Neola at this time, but we have some in-house policies that we want to clean up and adhere to.
Thank you. Community Engagement Committee.
I have a question.
Mrs. Bodie?
Can you confirm that we will be discussing boys and girls bathrooms during policy?
If that's what you want on the agenda.
I believe the board motioned for it to go to policy, so yes, we would expect that. Thank you.
Mrs. Casper?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there have to be a policy brought to the policy committee? So you'll have to bring a policy to the policy committee.
Is that not the attorney's job to make a policy?
No, it's your, if you want a policy, it's your job to bring the policy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Vogelman.
Yeah, we don't have any
We don't have a
policies surrounding that
boilerplate.
out there, so we would need kind of a sample one to follow.
So to be clear, you're saying it is my responsibility to bring a policy to the policy meeting?
We don't have one to follow.
Is that not why we have attorneys? Do they not write our policies and approve them?
No.
So
They do not.
What do we have the attorneys for?
Because they review the policies to make sure they fall within the legal guidelines. They don't sit out there and
Right.
do policies.
So our normal process would be if the board determines that it would like a policy on this coming out of that policy committee meeting, we may instruct the attorneys to develop that policy.
But there has to be
There'll
some
be a
sort of
board
guidelines.
discussion
I
for
mean, I'm
that to
fine with
happen.
developing, it's pretty easy, actually.
I invite you to bring a policy forward for consideration if you would like to do so.
All right, thank you.
We'll move to B, Community Engagement. Mrs. Casper?
We have a meeting scheduled on August 17th is our next meeting, 4 o'clock. Thank you, Mr. Zink. I got the 17th part in there, so it's
And I
progress.
believe we'll be looking at perhaps doing our community conversations just a little bit differently than we've
Right.
been doing them, so looking forward to that discussion. We do not have a report from Mrs. Schaefer tonight on Butler Technology and Career Development. Finance Committee was canceled this month, Mr. Zink?
Finance was canceled this month. The next meeting is August 15th at 3.
Thank you.
We updated that from the 16th due to the start of the school year. Have a little flexibility there.
All right. Legislative Committee. Mr. Vogelman, Mrs. Casper, Mr. Zink?
I think the big part, of course, was the changes with the.
Mr. Zink, I'm sorry, Mr. Vogelman, I'm having trouble hearing you. Would you pull that forward a little bit?
Sure.
Thank you.
Is the House Bill 33 passage and the components that are in there, such as increased funding, continuing the fair school funding. I think we still need to dissect that a little further. We're hearing some good news about that for Lakota at this point, but still need to research it further. Changing third grade reading guarantee retention changes, which helps, I think, every school district a little bit, of allowing you to have an alternative of providing that once the child goes into fourth grade instead of retaining them in third grade, but continue to offer services to help those students get onto grade level. The creation of what they're calling DEW, that's the Department of Education and Workforce, in place of the school board, the state of Board of Education. So they have about 90 days to kind of finalize what that looks like, and they'll be doing some work. So it's still kind of in flux to see what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. And then, of course, there were some transportation changes that will need to be researched further. Interesting, they're talking about 2 pilot programs with the ESCs providing transportation to public and private schools. And so it'll be interesting to see what those changes look like and kind of what we might be able to do here in Lakota or what we may be required to do here in Lakota. So we still need to research those further with transportation. All new. Of course, you know, with a lot of these are the new laws, and then it takes a while for them to explain exactly how we're supposed to follow them. So we wait on further guidance. That's what I've got from my part. So
On the surface, House Bill 33 looks to be favorable for us in fiscal year '24. We are moving from FY18 funding components up to fiscal year '22, so that brings things more current. Still would be assumed to be on a guarantee, but we're going to look more into that. Also, we have a conference we're going to on August 1st that is the budget analysis and discussion that we'll take a much deeper dive into the budget so that we'll have more information to report at the August meeting.
It's not normal to say you're going to a bad conference.
Yeah,
and be
it is.
excited about
I don't know
that.
It
why
is
they named
bad.
it that.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mrs. Casper?
No, I just watching how the budget changes, and I will be going to the BAD conference as well to get a better in-depth understanding. I don't know why they call it that, but
And I do want to note, one of the things in House Bill 33, and we'll be absorbing obviously more and then providing some more information, but they are funding years 3 and 4 of the Fair School funding formula.
Correct.
So that was good to see in terms of financial stability. I spent the weekend in Columbus at a trustee meeting, an executive committee meeting. As a part of that, we had 2 of our state Board of Education representatives that came and talked about some of the changes to the State Board of Education that came out of the budget bill. And we'll be providing more information on that as well. It's going to be a very drastic change in their responsibilities, those who are elected to represent us at that level. And we also had a legislative report that was approximately 25 pages, and I'd like to have our legislative committee get together and discuss the impact of those pieces, and then perhaps we could do an administrative report at one of our upcoming meetings on it. I will also be back in Columbus this coming weekend for the nominating committee picking leadership for OSBA for the upcoming year. And on August 11th, I'll be attending the legislative platform meeting, which sets the direction for those that are in charge of advocating for our students from the OSBA organization. That is all I have on legislative. Are there any other comments on legislative? Dr. Lawley, do you have anything to add to that?
Not this evening, thank you.
Okay. All right, we will move to Community Diversity Council. Would you like to discuss that, Mrs. Casper?
yes, sorry.
Planning meeting?
I was, sorry. Yeah, we have sent out all of the letters. I don't know, do you know if we have received all of them?
I think we're still in the process.
We're still in the process of getting back the basically contract that the people participating on the committee signs and what the expectations of the committees are. And our first meeting is August 9th at 6 p.m. Location to be determined.
Thank you.
Madam President, I would like to point out that that was not up for discussion on the agenda.
What was not up for
Diversity.
F, the Community Diversity Council.
That was.
That says Community Curriculum Advisory Team.
I believe you're further ahead on
Look
the
at
agenda than
G.
we actually are.
It's G.
Oh, sorry.
So we are on F.
F, and now that was G. Now we're on.
I apologize, I was wrong.
Now we're on.
Thank you.
H.
All right. Nothing further on that. And our Safety Committee, Mr. Vogelman, G.
For which one are we on?
H.
I'm sorry.
H.
Safety Committee.
Safety
H.
Committee, 8/18, the day of our committee meetings. That'll be our next one.
It was printed this morning, so I assume something changed on it letter-wise, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Vogelman.
Just stated that the next Safety Committee meeting will be on the 18th.
Very good, thank you. Business Advisory Committee, quite apart from any letters that may be in front of it. Our next Business Advisory meeting will be on the 25th of August.
Correct.
Community Curriculum Advisory Team, the CCAT team. Did you attend that, Mr. Zink?
I did attend it. The next meeting that they have is going to be on September 11th at 6 p.m.
Do you have anything to share with us from that meeting?
I don't think I have, it seems like maybe we talked about that a little bit, the 29th.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything additional to add. And the reason for the letters to be off, sorry about this, I put Facilities Committee on there because Facilities Committee is scheduled to meet on August 18th.
Yeah, that's on D.
That's in D.
I'm so confused.
At 2 o'clock, one of the things that I wanted to see if there would be an interest when we first put this out we kind of worked the schedule around it. Would there be an interest in filling the gap instead of at 2, maybe meeting the facilities committee at 11 a.m., which would be between the policy committee and the safety committee meeting?
So can you tell us so policy is at 10,
Policy is at 10 on the 18th.
right?
Safety, right now, we have safety at 12,
Okay.
and then we have facilities at 2.
Is
So
the
that
board
puts a pretty,
amenable, is the board amenable to moving that to 11 o'clock?
would they, be okay moving that to 11, so that then we could just kind of go back to back to back?
So we'd have a 10, 11, and 12 instead of a 10, 12, and 2.
Yes, that is correct.
I would like that.
Mrs. Bodie?
So can you, 10 a.m. is the policy, 11 o'clock would be what?
11 would then be the facilities meeting.
And then 12, safety.
Okay. Yes, that works, thank you.
And
Mr.
I would do that on the 16th as well. I'll do that in one notice to streamline.
Mr. Adi, does that work for you?
Yeah, I'm trying to get all the dates. It's on 8.
Mr. Zink will be sending that out in an upcoming notice to make sure everyone has the right dates and times.
Okay.
I would also like to point out that when you started talking about your professional development, that skipped down to K. And therefore, that's why the mix-up, because you went out of order.
I think that was part of the legislative.
That was part of the
update.
legislative update?
Yeah.
I also took that as professional development.
I understand we may disagree on where that belongs on the agenda. Anything further on CCAT? And I apologize for the mix-up. I printed my agenda off this morning, and that was what I made my notes on, so you must have changed that afterwards.
I meant to do a swap out, and I must have missed you. Sorry about that.
That's all right. It's okay. We got all the committees in, so that's what counts. Board professional development. Upcoming development that anyone's participating in?
Just the bad seminar on August the 1st.
Mrs. Bodie?
I develop myself professionally every day.
Audience, please. I do want to note, in addition to the BAD conference, 8-1, COSBA will have its second annual event in Dallas, February 22nd to the 25th, 2024.
Oh, that's early.
It is early. I also want to note that there was discussion at the trustee meeting around the Student Achievement Fair. This is the 25th year of having the Student Achievement Fair. Lakota is generally very well represented by our groups there. And they are still accepting, if we have more student groups, they are still accepting student groups into that if we're interested in having any other students participate.
Have we submitted some students, do we know?
I have not checked with Betsy.
I'm not
on
aware.
that yet.
Usually our media communications department helps with that, but I can check with them and see if they've submitted it.
She's giving us thumbs up back
Okay.
there, so I'm going to say yes, we did.
I also want the board to note, although this doesn't fall into professional development, we did just get the date for convocation for the start of our next school year, and that will be August 11th, 1 to 2:30 at Lakota West High School.
Outside again?
I believe it's outside again. Anything further under board reports? Hearing nothing, we'll move on to treasurer recommendations, action items. Mrs. Bodie has requested that we pull out A, approval of board minutes. So the approval will be for June 27th, 2023, special meeting, June 29th, 2023, regular meeting, June 30th, 2023, special meeting, and July 5th, 2023, Lakota special meeting. That's a reflection of much of the work that we've been doing on the superintendent search for having that many special meetings. That is not within our normal schedule. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Casper. Is there a
I
second?
second the approval of board minutes.
Thank you, Mrs. Bodie. Is there discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. Bodie,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes. Board will move to B and C, approval of the monthly financial reports. I'm sorry, B, C, and D. Approval of the monthly financial reports. C, approve the resolution declaring transportation impractical for the 2023-2024 school year. And D, the motion to approve in advance. Do I have a motion?
Discussion first, please.
We'll have a motion and a second, then we'll have discussion. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Casper. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Bodie. Discussion?
So regarding letter B, approval of monthly finance reports, I do not approve some of our expenditures. And two, to list two, the peer counselors, I do not support that organization. I do not think our peers should be responsible for each other, and it puts too much of a burden on our students. And then I also do not agree with the Lodi program. And so I am not going, and there's many that I do not approve of, so I'm not going to approve that. And then also, when it comes to the declaring the transportation impractical, I think we should provide transportation, and I think it is our job as a district to provide that transportation and figure out how to get students to school. So I will not be voting to approve that either. And there's nothing wrong with D. I should have said A and D in the beginning.
Is there further discussion? Mr. Adi or Mrs. Casper? Mr. Adi?
Nothing.
I do want to note that at our last board meeting, we had asked Mr. Passarge to provide us with the cost of providing transportation beyond what the state requires. And as I recall, correct me if I'm not quoting this correctly, I believe it was 3.5 to 4 million annually, in addition to an initial outlay of at least 4 million to upgrade the facilities to be able to do that. And perhaps more problematic is finding 38 more bus drivers in order to staff those routes. So with that being said, I certainly believe it would be terrific to be able to provide transportation for all, but don't necessarily see that as practical. Hence the motion. No further discussion. We'll go forward with the roll call. Mr. Zink?
Ms. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. Bodie,
No?
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes. Board will move to superintendent recommendations, action items. A, approve personnel items. B, approve an MOU between Lakota and the Butler County Sheriff's Office for SROs. C, approve an agreement between Lakota and Butler County Sheriff's Office for SRO services. D, an MOU between Lakota and the Westchester Police Department for SROs. And E, approve field trips. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Mr. Vogelman, would you like to fill us in?
Sure. The MOUs with our resource officers, we do this every June or July timeframe, dating back to 2017. So it's that time of year when we do that. Personnel items, there's some cleanup on some AG languages that when I was out, just trying to help clean up some of those. And once again, we're always appreciative of working with our local law enforcement agencies with our SRO contracts. Outside of that, the regular routine items.
Question.
Mrs. Casper?
Do we know, Mr. Vogelman, if we're fully staffed SRO-wise for next year, school year? I know we had some issues at the end of last school year. We
Yeah,
were pulling people off
I
the
don't know if we're
streets.
fully staffed at this time, but one of
officers.
the great pieces in working with both the Sheriff's Office and Westchester Police is they make sure that we are covered by offering detail work for those officers that are not on the job on those days. And many of our helpers are picking up that detail and serving in our buildings as filling in for the SROs if they're out or needed for training. Continue to work with that aspect with both Butler County and Westchester Police. They've been great in helping us make sure we get those vacancies filled.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, you follow up.
I was just going to say that I always think it's a good time when we approve the SRO or the MOUs to say how much we value our SROs in the community, not only in our buildings, but as peacekeeping officers, but what they do for our students. The relationships they build so that problems don't escalate to a point where we need to use them. An interesting story I just want to put out. and I hope Jody Green doesn't get upset with me, but we had a resource officer at Liberty Junior who was amazing with the kids, great relationships with the kids, and he had some medical issues and he had to step back. And I saw him here because he's now going to be, I believe, an instructional aide or he's going to be doing something in the district, as well as I think he coaches freshman football here. But he said, I just wanted to get back into the buildings. I just wanted to maintain those relationships that I had with the students in any form that I can. He said, because those relationships are what keeps us going, and it's what keeps our students knowing that they make good choices because of relationships that they have built with our SROs. So nobody paid me to say that. I see our SRO standing out there, but I always feel like this is a good time of year to thank and say how much we appreciate our SROs.
Very well said, Mrs. Casper.
Thank you.
I agree completely with your statement. They are an integral part of our team and really important to the well-being of our district. And appreciate the time and energy. And as you said, I think it takes a special individual to be able to be an SRO. It's not just the law enforcement skills, but it's also the relationship skills as well. And we know that they go through rigorous training in order to be prepared for any situations that we need to encounter, and we appreciate that. Mr. Adini, comments?
Yes. I want to echo what both of you said regarding the S. Just to add to it, we really appreciate their efforts and to thank them for doing what they're doing, because student safety should be a priority in every school district. And for having them there for us, I want them to know that we appreciate and we thank them.
Thank you, Mr. D. Any further comments?
Yes. So when it comes to the personnel items, thank you for taking my advice, and I appreciate the execution of my motion that I put forth last year, even though it wasn't seconded, to incorporate exit interviews. I think they're very important to the district, so thank you. And I do have concerns about, and I think it was in some of the exit interviews, and then I see on the resignations that we have several special education resignations. And I know, and I hear that that is the norm, but I don't think that should be the norm in Lakota. I would like to see what is causing that, and hopefully that is something that we can fix, because the special education is a really hard area. I understand that, and we need to make it easier for our teachers and our assistants to do their job. And then I also am a little concerned. There are several from one school or one building that have left, so that concerns me as well. And then the other thing is, I noticed that we have an agreement between Butler County Sheriff's Office, and I'm wondering why there's not one for Westchester. I think it's necessary, if it's necessary for one, we should have it for the other. And I was reading some of the things that we pay for, and so I'm wondering why we are not providing that for the Westchester Police Department.
It's the timing of it. We do have an agreement with the Westchester Police Department, but that does not expire until next year. So we'll do the same thing again next year with them. It's a multi-year agreement.
So one expires first and the other expires, is it
That's
like
correct.
off year? Okay, great, thank you. And also thank you to the SROs. My son really enjoyed the SRO at the West or East Freshman Campus. And also when we lived in, our other states, he really enjoyed the SROs. And I know it's a special person to work the school because they have to get along with the children and build those relationships. So thank you. And I appreciate your hard work and your protection and making the school environment more safe. So thank you.
We'll call the roll. Mr. Zink?
Ms. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. Bodie,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes. Board will move to F, and I deliberately separated this out to make a comment about approving donations. Is there a motion?
On D,
On
F,
whatever letter that is on your agenda? Yes.
yes, so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Can I second?
Thank you. Mr. Adi, go ahead.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. D. So I do want to note that the number right now is just under 28,000, and that's because this is the start of our fiscal year. And I want to point out that at the end of our fiscal year, when we look at that next June, it will be hundreds of thousands of dollars. And want to say thank you to our community, to our parent groups, to all those that participate in those donations to the district. I don't think we can say thank you enough for that, and just want to note, it's low now, but by the end of June, you'll be surprised next year what happens with that. Without further discussion, would you call the roll?
I have a discussion.
Mrs. Bodie?
I would like to point out that per Robert's Rules of Order, he cannot second a motion. It has to be those who are present.
And I noted that it was Mrs. Casper and you, so I believe it was appropriately motioned and seconded. Thank you.
Took his second.
Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. Bodie,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes. We'll move to number 8, the board member motion. The motion follows. I move that this board either vote to immediately disassociate this district from these programs in all forms, or we vote immediately to hire 2 law firms to submit legal opinions on the future of these programs in education, as well as the intentional hiring by race. Is there a motion?
I motion that the Supreme Court said that all lives
Mrs.
matter.
Bodie, is
They
there a
didn't-
motion?
I'm reading my motion because I'm.
Mrs.
per
Bodie, your
Robert's
motion
Rules
is
of
on the
Order,
agenda.
I'm supposed to motion.
You
and
are
read the
out of
whole-
order. The motion is on
Actually,
the agenda.
You're doing a bad job as a president, and you're doing this incorrectly.
So noted. Thank you, Mrs. Bodie. Do you want to make a
Do you
motion?
want to make this motion?
Yes, I motion.
Thank
that
you.
this board either vote
Mrs.
to.
Bodie?
Excuse me, I'm reading the
You are
motion
out
per
of
Robert's
order.
Rules of Order.
You are out of order.
I am following Robert's Rules of Order. How are you telling me that I'm out of order?
Mrs. Bodie, the motion on the agenda is what we're trying to get a
And that's
motion
what I was
for
getting
in a
ready to
second.
read. I motion to approve that this board either vote to immediately associate
Mrs.
this
Bodie,
district
do you need a
from
moment
these
to
programs.
collect yourself?
I am reading
Do you
this
need a
per
moment
Robert's
to
Rules of
collect
Order.
yourself?
You obviously do not know the Robert's Rules of Order and the proper way to read a motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Bodie.
Thank you.
So you have made the motion that's on the agenda.
I haven't made it properly because you will not allow me to.
Mrs. Bodie, a yes or a no?
I have not made the motion. You will not allow me to do it properly.
So the motion has not been made?
I motion that I approve this, that the board approve either to vote immediately disassociate this district from these programs in all forms, or we vote immediately to hire 2 law firms to submit legal opinions on the future of these programs in education, as well as the intentional hiring by race.
Thank you. I have a motion. Is there a second?
I would like to second this for the sake of discussion.
Thank you, Mrs. Casper. Mrs. Bodie, would you like to start the discussion?
Yes, please. The Supreme Court just said that all lives matter. They didn't say that Black lives don't matter, but if your mantra is Black lives matter, then you're going to need to explain yourself going forward. The Supreme Court ruling in Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard College and the University of North Carolina has made it perfectly clear that institutional or professional divisions and preferences by race are unconstitutional and will not be tolerated any longer. That race can no longer play a role in determining who attends a class, who attends a function, or who gets hired. Citing Title VI, it is clear this ruling will have broad-reaching effects on a plethora of other race-based initiatives by institutions and businesses alike. The obvious collateral consequences of this decision puts equal protection of the intent of the 14th Amendment back in play as across the board in what Justice Thomas calls the colorblind Constitution. The restoration of the original revolutionary promise that all are born equal and free and shall be treated so before the law. No more collective judgment, no more ancestral judgments, no more blood benefits, and no more blood libels. The Americans are judged as individuals, not in or by aggregate. Rest assured, if Lakota does not immediately end its association with critical race theory, DEI, and SEL, we will be sued and we will lose. This institution routinely practices and promotes racial segregation as well as differential or preferential treatment by race. We openly seek to hire using racial preferences. The political left may control over 90% of the media, and 100% of the leadership of the teachers union. And they're like organizations, but they do not control all judges. It is now time to return to sanity. Discrimination by race cannot be tolerated any longer. Thank you.
Board, with your indulgence, I'd like to go next in discussion. Mr. D, is that all right with you?
Yeah.
On Thursday, July 13th, after our agenda meeting had concluded, Mr. Zink and I received an email from Mrs. Bodie with a document attached. The motion on the agenda tonight was part of that document. Mrs. Bodie has shared her reasoning behind her motion, and I would like to respond. First of all, in our responsibility as elected officials and as a taxpayer-funded government entity, we follow the law. Based on principles of ethical and appropriate governance, we follow the law. When there are changes to the law, either through legislative action or through judicial decisions, there may have to be changes to our practices and our policies and processes. This Supreme Court decision is specifically based on college admissions and not K through 12 schools. There may be more broad-reaching consequences down the road to the decision, but we don't know that yet. And again, we will follow the law as those consequences unfold and as the impact on a wide range of current practices and mandates becomes more clear. Mrs. Bodie makes sweeping assumptions on what she believes this ruling means. I don't personally believe that she has a solid basis for her assumptions, and should those assumptions become reality, we will follow the law and any changes to the law. Number two, furthermore, in her assumptions, she has unnecessarily used language that I believe is inappropriate, and I'm going to repeat only for the sake of clarity: blood libels. She's posted that language on her personal social media. She's used the same language this evening again. Many have responded to her use of that term, blood libel, to ensure that she fully understands the implications behind the term and the context. As an example, following Mrs. Bodie's Facebook post on July 9th, Rabbi Ari Yun, Executive Director of Jewish Federation of Cincinnati's Jewish Community Relations Council, he's in our audience this evening, thank you for being here, reached out privately to Mrs. Bodie with the request that she not use that term. I've asked Rabbi Ari if I could share publicly his communication. And in some of their back and forth email, he noted that for the Jewish community, it represented a uniquely devastating and violent chapter of hate against Jews. On July 12th, Mrs. Bodie posted again and doubled down on her earlier statement, saying that using the term worked just fine. On July 13th, she took action to place a motion on the board agenda, and in that background information, which you've heard this evening, she again used the same term. I would like to read into the record, with Rabbi Ari's permission, his email to the board that was received on July 13th, in which he included his email to Mrs. Bodie. This is directed directly to Mrs. Bodie. Thank you for corresponding these past few days regarding your 7/9 Facebook post referencing blood libels. I appreciated your willingness to share your point of view with me on this matter. However, because we could not reach agreement, and more particularly because of your more recent post on 7/12, I write to you personally and publicly to set forth the concerns that we have as representatives of the JCRC. As I noted privately, I do not presume that you made your post on July 9th with an intent to engage in anti-Semitic activity. Nevertheless, as I explained, the term blood libel has a particularly historic meaning, and it is specifically associated with a millennia-old form of anti-Jewish persecution. According to the American Jewish Committee's Translate Hate glossary of terms and phrases linked to anti-Semitism, as one of the longest-standing forms of anti-Semitism, blood libels have led to horrific violence, destruction, persecution, and massacres of Jewish people and communities, before, during, and beyond the Nazi propaganda that used it to demonize Jews. Despite its other falsehood and its disavowal by Jews, by the Roman Catholic Church, and other non-religious authorities, blood libel remains an influential myth in the 21st century. Universal experience and Jewish traditions teach us that words have consequences. When you write that those concerned need to get a grip, doubling down on your stance that it's acceptable to call critical race theory a blood libel, you use your words in a way that desensitizes people to the very real and literal blood libels that have led to the death and the persecution of Jews across the world. Reappropriating the phrase blood libel for commentary on contemporary events offends the sensibilities of Jews because it trivializes our history and our suffering. Once more, we ask that you refrain from characterizing contemporary political challenges as blood libel. In this matter, our request is humble but firm. Of course, you're free to continue to advocate for your values, but please do so without invoking Jewish tragedies. This is a nonpartisan request that we would ask of any elected official or public figure, regardless of party, in the hope that we and our children will share brighter tomorrows together. Rabbi Ari Jun, Director, Cincinnati Jewish Relations Council.
Madam President,
Mrs. Bodie, I am still speaking and still have the floor. Rabbi Jun, thank you for those words that share directly with us the impact that words have. After Mrs. Bodie was asked to stop, she sent this to be put on the agenda anyway, again including the same language. I personally believe that her language, specifically chosen and used on several occasions, is a violation of common decency. I believe it is also a clear violation of Lakota's anti-harassment policies 1662, 3362, 4362, 5517, and 557.01. I'll provide you with a copy of that, Mrs. Bodie. I think it's important to remember that words do matter. Number 3, let's discuss Mrs. Bodie's motion and the other comments tonight. The assumption that CRT, DEI, and SEL programs will result in lawsuits based on this decision. Please, and this has been requested many, many times before, provide specific evidence that Lakota is teaching CRT in the classroom. If that is occurring, the district needs to know in order to take action. 2, SEL standards are part of the state curriculum. 3, Mrs. Bodie has made a clear allegation that this institution, the Lakota School District, practices and promotes racial segregation. Cornell University defines racial segregation in education as the term segregation, meaning that the operation of a school system in which students are wholly or substantially separated among the schools of an educational agency on the basis of race, color, sex, or national origin, or within a school on the basis of race, color, or national origin. This is a very broad statement and highly concerning and damaging. We take things that are viewed as discriminatory very seriously, and that's why we have very specific policies in place, which I've given you the citation for. I've asked Mr. Zink to gather information on the matrix that we use for employment as an example. I have a copy of that tonight for all of our board members. There's nothing in these documents that supports the claim that we openly seek to hire using racial preferences. What evidence does Mrs. Bodie have to support that statement? I personally, in my almost 16 years on the board, have never seen Lakota involved in the practice of hiring based on any areas that are lawfully considered discriminatory. To ensure that, again, I've gotten the documents. I invite Mrs. Bodie to give me the evidence for where we are not following the law, because I do not see any evidence of anything other than an objective to hire the best candidate for the right position. 4, in the motion itself, Mrs. Bodie does not cite the specific programs that she believes we need to disassociate from. To wrap up, I agree with what I think might be the underlying assumption, although it's very unclear, that possibly the Supreme Court ruling in Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard College may have implications for other areas. After that, I am not in agreement with any other area of this motion, nor do I agree with the approach Mrs. Bodie has chosen to take in the use of inflammatory and divisive rhetoric. And once again, we see the same pattern of putting forward false allegations without evidence to support those allegations. Most disappointingly to me, and on a personal level, after almost a full week of divisive and non-productive behavior, what's been gained? What's been accomplished that benefits our students, that adds to their ability to reach their fullest potential, that speaks to the needs of all students and barriers that we must address for all students? What boosts their achievement and their learning? Where's the focus on what's best for kids?
Madam
Mr.
President?
Adi, Mrs. Casper, I invite you to speak before Mrs. Bodie speaks again.
Go ahead and let Isaac, since he's,
Okay.
go ahead.
Mr.
I
Adi,
would like to.
you'll need to
Can
speak
I?
up, please.
Can
We
I
can
speak?
hear you. Yes, please.
Okay. I want to publicly say here today that I disassociate myself with those statements that Mrs. Bodie made. Any statement that will create division, I am not part of it, and it saddens me that even those statements have nothing to do with our educational system. Uh, does not None of that is in mathematics, in language art, in science, and in history, because student achievement is what we should all be focusing on. If there is any personal statement of such, she should keep them to herself. She shouldn't be bringing it to a Lakota school district, because that is not who we are. And I want to publicly say today that I disassociate myself with that statement. And as long as she doesn't even have facts, they are false, and I disagree with her. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. D. Mrs. Casper?
There's so much to unpack here. I did a little bit of my own research on the Supreme Court ruling, did a little bit deeper dive, and talked to two attorneys, one of them who is versed in this. And again, this has to do with college admissions. And if you read briefly, Chief Justice Roberts says, and I quote, "Nothing in this opinion should be construed as prohibiting universities from considering an applicant's discussion of how race affected his or her life, be it through discrimination, inspiration, or otherwise. In simpler terms, the Supreme Court ruling is not a blanket ban on the consideration of an applicant's race into the college. It says nothing about any kind of K-12 curriculum or any kind of things that Mrs. Bodie has put in her motion. When she comments that immediately end association with critical race theory, DEI and SEL, we will be sued and we will lose. We won't. First of all, we don't teach critical race theory. I don't know how many times we have to say that. But the Supreme Court did not rule the legality of DEI and SEL training in any of this opinion. There's nothing like that in it. So you are entitled to your opinion, and you are entitled to put on Facebook whatever you want. However, hate speech is awful. Doubling down when you're called out is awful. And the fact that it's grandstanding to take what you want to put in a motion and put it on Facebook, when once again, for I don't know how many times, if you want to do something like this policy, it belongs in the policy committee and not a motion. And the background information is your opinion and not part of the motion. You can put whatever hateful stuff you want on your Facebook page, or whatever your opinion is. But the document, as Mrs. O'Connor pointed out, our agenda document is not a place for you to spew your opinions. It has nothing to do with Lakota and has nothing to do with practices. The attorney that I reached out to that's versed in this said, yes, you still have the ability to consider a minority candidate if you would like to have a minority candidate. You can just, yes, you can. Stop shaking your head.
That's
I'm talking,
racist.
it's not racist.
It is racist.
Mrs.
I'm
Bodie, you do
talking.
not have
It's
the
my
floor.
turn to
You
talk.
support
It's my
racism.
turn to talk.
You do not have the floor, and you
If
are out
I
of
am
order.
a public school in a Hispanic part of New York City, and I have two teachers, and one is Caucasian and one is Hispanic, and they have the exact same qualifications, and I hire the Hispanic one, that is not racism, and
That's
I have
racist.
every right to do
You're
it.
hiring him because of his skin color.
No, we're not. He's
Yes,
asked,
you are.
we're hiring him because.
Mrs. Bodie, Mrs. Casper listened quite, I'm sorry,
I'm sorry.
listened quietly while you spoke.
did.
Please allow her to finish, and you'll have another opportunity to speak. Let her finish.
The opinion said there is nothing wrong with hiring a minority candidate in your building if it is the same qualifications. If you give them extra points and hire them because they're minority, yes, that is illegal.
Right.
But that is not what this means, and that is
Yeah,
not what
that's
it's saying, and that's not what we're doing.
You need a
Mrs.
new
To have
attorney.
To
You do
have
not
a
have the
child
floor.
in a public school in the middle of New York City, in Spanish Harlem, to have a teacher that looks like them is not a bad thing if the teacher is qualified. And never in the history of Lakota have we hired somebody because of their race or their religion or anything. We hire the best qualified candidate. And it's ridiculous that you keep saying that we do that. But the fact remains, for, again, the millionth time, you should not be using your Lakota School Board Facebook page for your political agenda. That's not what it's for. You are entitled to your political opinions. Put them on your personal page, not on your school board page where you're spreading hate and ugly rumors. Sorry, I'm not as calm as you. There's just no reason. Sorry, I'm finished.
Mrs. Bodie, I assume you have further comments?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, Kelly, you need a new attorney because he's wrong. And number two, I think because you disagree with the meaning of a word does not mean it's hate speech. And you cannot take a word and claim it as your own. Blood libel in this case is dealing with America, obviously not Israel. And when you're damaging the reputation, excuse me, I'm talking, excuse me. When you're damaging the reputation of a race, and when you're characterizing one as an oppressor and the oppressed, that's blood libel. There isn't anyone here
Audience.
that doesn't understand that, including you both.
Audience,
This is the left
please.
doing what the left does. And Linda, you just showed how weak you are.
Do you have any further comments you'd like to make?
Yes, I would also like to say that these are the ramifications that I see from the Supreme Court decision. It's okay if you don't see them. It's okay if you don't see the direction where we're headed. And it's okay if you don't see it as ending racism. That's where we differ. This is the beginning of the end, and you obviously need to do your homework. I put my interpretation in writing. Where's yours?
Say something?
Mrs. Casper.
While you say I need to find a new attorney, can I ask you two questions? When did you become an attorney, and when did you get appointed to the Supreme Court? Because you are speaking as if you have inside knowledge that is not in the opinion. So I guess that's my question. Am I passing this?
Do you have any further comments?
No.
Am I passing this down?
Yes. Mrs. Casper, do you have any further
I
comments?
do not.
Mr. Adi, do you have any further comments?
Yes. My comment is, I hope the community is watching and to see where we are going with education in Lakota. Because as far as I'm concerned, all this has nothing to do with improving the lives of our students and getting them in a better place in the future. This is just opinion. And I hope everybody's watching to know that we have to be careful the kind of people we bring on the board. That's what I must add. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. D. I'll make final comments and then we'll take a vote. So, as I have said to you privately and now feel compelled to say publicly because of the continued comments, I don't know what trauma and damage in your past causes you to spew the hate and vitriol that you do.
That's inappropriate.
But I am not your parent. I am your colleague, and your comments are completely and totally inappropriate.
You're out of line.
Number two, we will pay attention, and I want our community to be aware of that. We will pay attention to any impact that the Supreme Court decision has on what we do. And we will follow the law just as we always do. So please rest assured that that is a continuous process that we do. We have very qualified law firms that help us to make sure that we stay in compliance. And again, as in every other case, we'll do that with this, and we will follow law. I do want to say thank you to Rabbi Jun we've been communicating since last week, and it's been very positive and uplifting conversation. And I appreciate very much your offer to partner with us, your positive reaction, and your efforts to institute positive change regardless of how they were met. Thank you for that and for helping to educate all of us on things that will help us to be better in the future. So thank you for that. With no further discussion, please call the roll, Mr. Zink.
Yes.
No.
No. We'll move to closing comments. Mrs. Bodie, closing comments?
I think it's clear by what Ms. Richardson said in her statement that she and those she speaks for, including this board, support racism and do not believe that all men are created equal and do not believe in the Constitution.
Mrs. Casper, audience, please.
Again, so much to unpack.
Please.
It's my turn back there, you too. Yeah, just the constant name calling and the constant that we are all wrong and you are right is just really starting to be awful.
You're out of order.
Anyway, I wanted to clear up something that I heard and that actually Mrs. Bodie has pointed out on a previous conversation. There is a rumor going around that a student in Lakota who chooses to change their identity, their sexual identity at birth, can be driven to the hospital by a counselor to Children's Hospital and have the surgery without any parental consent. So I want to make sure, I want to make sure that we know that we can't
Mrs. Bodie,
even,
you are out of order. Please allow her to finish her
we
comments.
can't even give a
Be
child an
quiet.
aspirin without parental approval. So the fact that I just don't, I mean, I've seen a video circulating where this has been said, and it's important that children's hospitals around the world that do such great things for children are not going to jeopardize their reputation by doing surgery on a minor without parental consent, any kind of surgery. Like, they're not going to take a splinter out without the consent of a parent. So I just wanted to, because I've had many, many people come to me over the last week, I just want to make sure that I can clear that up publicly.
Can
So
I talk on top of that?
No.
No, because this is my closing comment.
Mrs.
Well, when you're
Casper,
done, I have
continue.
something to say.
So
Mrs. Bodie, please stop speaking.
I would also like to thank Rob for all he did in this interim period. We appreciate all you did. We couldn't have maintained what we have without you. And jumping again in for the second time to be the interim and to help us out is greatly appreciated. We look forward to you continuing to do the job you do as the assistant superintendent, which is also a very thankful job for us. And I was curious to know when the baseball Yankee back-to-school countdown starts. Is it soon? Is it
If-
30 days out?
If- I have to go back and check
All right,
and get my numbers straight.
all right, I'm waiting. But again, seriously, we want to thank you for stepping in and helping run the ship in the interim. We appreciate it.
Dr. Lawley, any comments?
Just like to thank you for the opportunity again to serve the Lakota community, the students here, the families, and the staff here in Lakota. I look forward to it. So I thank you for that opportunity.
Mr. D?
Yes. I want to say that it saddens me to see a day like this, that a board member will take advantage of an opportunity given to her to be doing this kind of things. One, I know there was a child that quit school because of an action of Mrs. Bodie. And today, more and more of such is coming out from her. In my personal opinion and my advice to Mrs. Bodie is you need to start looking inward and start to consider the future of the kids that you are toiling with, because it's not helping them. I don't know how I will sleep if I'll be able to close my eyes and sleep if a child will quit school because of my action. I don't know how you do it, but I know I'm going to advise that it's not too late. Slow down. Consider the kids, consider the students, consider the district. Look at what your action is causing.
And I say the same thing
I
back to
don't,
you,
I
Isaac.
don't think
Mrs.
I am
Bodie,
peace.
please
Am
be
I, is
You're
my,
quiet.
very
you're my
disappointing to
colleague.
your
You're my
constituents, and
colleague.
you failed them.
Mrs. Bodie, you are out of order again.
You are
My,
multiple times as well,
my
Mr. President.
constituent
Please continue,
wants
Do your
Mr.
me.
D.
job.
Would you
What
please
I
bring your
understand,
microphone up a bit so that we can hear you?
Obviously don't know how to do your job.
You need to stop.
my understanding of what I'm supposed to do as a board member is I'll come to the school district. If there's anything I need corrected, I will work along with my peers, board members,
You're lying.
discuss it, find my evidence, and say, please, let's fix this. And this is where it will take us to if we're able to fix that. Give you my evidence and give you the fact that it's going to help the kids. And I'm never going to come and stand and take credit for anything alone and say, hey, look, this is what I've done, this is what I've done, this is what I've done. Because I believe that our job is to work together and make the school better, not to earn credit. So with that being said, I'm going to land on a lighter note. Mr. Vogelman, thank you for stepping up. We appreciate you because the time we needed you the most, you stepped up. And we thank you for doing that. Dr. Lawley, thank you for coming on board. I believe that we have a lot of work to do. And I want to guarantee you that you have my support 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. D. Mr. Zink?
Well, I would, excuse me, I would hate to jinx myself, but I'm hoping that this is the last meeting of my first year.
That's right.
With the stretch of special meetings we had, I would hate to jinx myself, but it has been quite the year. I want to thank the board for the opportunity. Thank you guys for trusting me to step into Ms. Logan's shoes. and take the position. It has definitely been a year full of many twists and turns, many surprises that we didn't see coming. This is now the third superintendent that I'll get. I hope that's not a sign of me.
Maybe two, Adam.
If it is, I want everybody to know how sorry I am for that. I also want to thank Rob for the time. Thanks for stepping up. Thanks for all you've done. Thanks for all the help that you've given to me. I really appreciate that and look forward to continuing. I have heard, since we talk about some rumors sometimes, I have heard rumors that Mr. Vogelman's retiring, and that is not what I know. So he is sticking around. So if anybody's heard that, it is not true. We are not going anywhere without him.
So, Mr. Vogelman, don't go quite yet. Are you finished?
I think I am. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I have. And thanks, Mr. D, for joining us from far away. So thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Vogelman, I am going to go next, and in honor of your moving back to your assistant superintendent position, I'll give you last word. So I want to say thank you, Dr. Lally, for joining our team. We're looking forward to the work ahead. Mr. Zink, it has been quite the first year. We could never have anticipated. And I thank you because I know full well how much extra time and effort has gone into this first year that shouldn't have had to be there, but it has been, and thank you for standing in the gap. You really have done a terrific job.
Thanks.
Let's just say you've earned your performance pay this year. And on my final statement, I just want to end with this thought of kids come first. Mr. Vogelman?
I've got a couple here, just kind of keeping with regular routines. Continue to prepare for the 23-24 school year. Just keep in mind, our kindergarten registration has been open since January 25th, as we are trying to account for all of our new students coming in. So if you have not registered, please get your student registered. If you go to our website, Parents Enrollment, follow the listed items on the webpage, see what documents are required so we can get your child in on the first day. Secondly, next week is the Ohio Safety Conference up in Columbus. There'll be many of us going up there on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thank you to the work of Kim Melzer, who works in our federal grants area, that we're able to send a building representative at no cost to the general fund. And we'll be attending with several of our SROs from Westchester Police and Butler County Sheriff's Office. I wrote down, I remember sitting in Sheriff Jones' office 12 years ago when, after Sandy Hook had taken place, and we were in the middle of debating a levy and talking about putting on the safety, and directly asking him, what according to you as the sheriff, as the top law enforcement agency in this county, would be necessary for you to say that our schools are safe? And that's what started our partnership. And here we are now. Now we're doing trainings together. We're going to conferences together. We're doing all of this together as a team, instead of having someone come in and just kind of exist in our buildings to offer security, but we do it as a team, Lakota, Westchester Police, and Butler County Sheriff's Office. I'm proud of the work that we've done there. Thirdly, expect more data to be released in August from the ODE on our report card. In August should be a release of the gap closure data, and then following October, you should see the growth and value add data. We are anticipating positive results there, anticipating and eagerly awaiting. I want to say a special thank you to the Board of Education members and Adam for your time and effort as you work on the superintendent search process and finding Dr. Lally to lead us to Lakota. I don't think people understand how much time and energy you all put in, and hours away from your family, from a newborn, as well as you guys worked hard to find Dr. Lally over these past 6 weeks. I want to personally say thank you for the time that each one of you have given and dedicated to that search process that has brought Dr. Lally to us. I've asked permission to share this next piece, but I want to thank our media and communications team. A lot of you may not know, but our director, Betsy Fuller, has been battling a cancer diagnosis this calendar year. We celebrate with her that she was able to ring the bell last week. And we hope and pray with her and her family for a great report in August to hopefully move forward. She and her team have not skipped a beat during her diagnosis and treatment. Lauren Betcher and Cindy Zanies, as part of her team, picked up in areas that Betsy needed support, and Betsy would spend much of her time in the hospital working on things while receiving her treatments. People need to understand the level of dedication and commitment from those behind the scenes at times that go about their business without attention or recognition that they deserve. Thank you to the Lakota Media Communications team. Thank you, Betsy, for your dedication to Lakota, and we'll be cheering for your August report. Along that same line, we have another employee that is battling recent health issues. I asked Sherry Mattingly permission to share about our Independence principal, John Mattingly. As many of you know, on Friday, June 23rd, John visited the University of Cincinnati Medical Center emergency room because he had some swelling in his neck, difficult swallowing, and chest pain. After being admitted, they found a large mass in his chest. It was determined at the time it was likely lymphoma, and a biopsy was ordered. The biopsy was performed on 6/29 at UC. After the procedure, he began to have trouble with his breathing, and he remained on a ventilator. The large mass is pressing on his lungs, making it difficult for him to breathe. Currently, John is still in the ICU, and the preliminary biopsy reports indicate that John has T-cell cancer. On Friday, June 30th, John started receiving steroids to begin reducing the mass in his chest. It's expected it has been expected, and he has begun chemotherapy treatment. We do have a plan in place to support Indy. As on the agenda tonight, Julie Nichols will be stepping up as the interim principal, and we will be helping her through this first semester. We hope that John will continue to battle and improve. Sherry is grateful for the outpouring of love, prayer, and support from the Lakota family. She shares that she has been blown away by the support they've been given over these past couple of weeks and can't wait for John to see, read, and understand the amount of love that has been in and surrounding him in the Mattingly family. We hope John will continue to improve, and we will continue to support him and the family as the medical team assesses his condition and provide the family with an accurate prognosis for John. So I'll make sure we have our priorities in line after we hear these last two stories. Family matters. Take care of your family.
Mr. Vogelman. Thank you for that reminder of what really matters. We'd ask that you hold those staff in your thoughts and your prayers. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Casper. The chair will second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Casper,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Bodie.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
My computer died